taking a close look at what's around us, there is some sort of a harmony. It is the harmony of overwhelming and collective murder. And we, in comparison to the articulate vileness and baseness and obscenity of all this jungle, we, in comparison to that enormous articulation, we only sound and look like badly pronounced and half-finished sentences out of a stupid suburban novel.
Can you explain the idea of ecstatic truth?
I think at the moment there's a major tectonic shift going on. Everything is pointing towards a redefinition of reality. The internet, virtual realities, pyramid energy, vitamin eating, surfing, text messaging, special effects in cinema, video games, reality TV, cell phones, breast implants, Photoshop, television, radio, stretch limos, WrestleMania.
Paul, I think you have started to watch WrestleMania on television, which I have advised.
Thanks to you.
And it's a huge, massive onslaught. We have never seen anything like this in the history of the human race.
But I would...
Because you must not avert your eyes. This is what is coming at us. This is what television, what a collective anonymous body of majority wants to see on television. A majority of people, and I was always fascinated by the Anne Nicole Smith show. I mean, the most vulgar blonde with installations of breasts as far reaching out as this.
Way beyond Baywatch, by the way, with breasts. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get around that part of it.
You have to get around, just, now you have to ignore it and go for the substance. And Los Angeles is the city with the most substance here in the United States, period.
Wow.
I do believe that these very intelligent people invented God, but it took God a while to grow up and create the world.
He was kind of scared and he screamed for the police, but for about 600 miles around there was, of course, no police post. So it was to no avail.
And I don't want to make an objective film. Then you would end up... people tell me everything has to be fact-based.
You've caught some flack for your documentaries because you sometimes make stuff up, or you say intensify.
Yes.
400 or 500 filmmakers in Amsterdam, I saw that. And they are speaking about how documentaries should be made, and we should be only like a fly on the wall and not interfere. If I were only fact-based, you see, the book of books in literature then would be the Manhattan Phone Directory. Manhattan Phone Directory.
The phone directory of Manhattan.
4 million entries.
4 million entries. 4 million entries.
Everything correct.
All correct. Factually correct and objective. I'm not into the business.
But it dusts out of my ears, and I do not know, do they dream at night? Does Mr. Jonathan Smith... Does Mr. Alfred Smith... cry in his pillow at night? Cry into his pillow at night. We do not know anything when we check all the correct entries in the phone directory. I'm not this kind of a filmmaker.
I'm a filmmaker, I'm a storyteller. Cinema verite is the accountant's truth, as I keep saying. I have insulted many with that, but...
And I just couldn't take it anymore, and I grabbed the mic and I said, no, we are directors, we are creators, we should be the hornets that sting. We go out there, and then there was a roar of disgust against me, and I shouted back, Happy New Year's, losers.
There's humor in my films. In The Bad Lieutenant, audiences laugh more than in a Eddie Murphy comedy.
I've somehow left the paved road. Nobody cares about my films. For example, what was that?
When you look at Hollywood, I mean, it's completely crazed, and I see myself as the only one, literally, the only one who is clinically sane.
We quickly realised that some wacko had taken a pot shot at us with an air rifle, and Herzog had been hit.
Not long ago, I was shot during a TV interview like this here, right in the middle of it.
Look, you're bleeding.
I think here somewhere. Yeah.
Look, somebody shot at you and created a wound in your abdomen.
It's not significant. I was actually shot at much more seriously during other film productions, so that's unpleasant.
So this is nothing new?
Nothing really new, but it's exhilarating to be shot at without success. Fear disappeared. It's not in my dictionary anymore. Came down, spinning down, somersaulting down, halfway on top of another car. I can't even relate to it. But I, in a way, recognize that it was Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know what it is. He had picked up somehow a cigarette and tried to light the cigarette. And I said to him, man, relax. I'm really frightening and really vile and debased and dysfunctional.
Aren't you going to have something?
No, I had just such a big hamburger. And hostile with my film children. That was really big. I mean, so hostile, so bad, so vile, that my wife Lena, but we've never been at that place, it's really good, gets frantic calls from Paris. Once the film had opened in Paris, her girlfriend calls her frantically and says, Lena, are you really married with that man?
What, pimps?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Pimps?
Yeah, it's a funny name, but I don't remember. The problem of Avatar is some of the story, the New Age bullshit. It sounds awful, yeah. It sounds like New Age, or it sounds like people who go to abominations like yoga classes. All psychologists who are one of the great mistakes of the 20th century. I mean, so intense a mistake. A part of many other factors that I believe the 20th century per se was a mistake. I do understand humor, but I take things literal, and whatever other references that might be there doesn't occur to me. And why is it that such an advanced creature like a chimp does not ride a goat into the sunset in Monument Valley? After 35 years of knowing John Waters, I turned to my wife and I said to her, I have the feeling this man is gay. And then he asks him, you have to ask yourself one question, do you feel lucky? Read. If you don't read, you'll never be a filmmaker.
It's an uncanny story. Do you want to share with the audience this movie about the twins, or is it still in
No,
embryo?
I mean, it would be easy to write the screenplay because it's such an evident, wonderful story. It's about a real case of twins in England who came from Yorkshire originally. And they are the only known case where twins or two people speak in unison, beat him up in sync with their handbags or poked at him in sync with their umbrellas. And it went on for a couple of years until with an abusive father who apparently sexually molested them. Maybe 30 human consecutive lives until they have drilled through the mountain. And they started anyway. And in 2.5 years, something like ugly, purple-faced trucker lived. And all of a sudden, a train like this comes passing by full of tourists. And the conductor is explaining about the cave, and they fall in love with the voice, this employee. And he says, I cannot let you out. Nobody can be in there because we had 262 people entering and 262 people exiting. Cut, end of the film.